And the storm making its final push across the state. What mark does it make before it leaves? I'll let you know.
We are learning more about a police shooting that left a 45-year-old Ogden man dead. What Ogden's police chief and a domestic violence advocate had to say about this incident.
And an incredible story of survival in southern Utah. A man's life saved by Good Samaritans who were in the right place at the right time. We'll introduce you to them as they reunite for the first time since that fateful day.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Spencer Joseph. Our top story this evening is the weather. We've seen plenty of rain and snowfall in the central and southern parts of our states, from Beaver to Millard to Spanish Fork and to Price. You can see behind me, it's been coming down the last few hours. We have team coverage for you right now, starting with meteorologist Breck Bolden. Breck, what are we seeing?
Well, Spencer, the storm does continue on. Associated cold front made its move through the Wasatch Front, now positioning itself as it moves further southward. We're really central and southern Utah getting into the action, but again making its mark as we take a look at some of the snow amounts, especially over the higher terrain and some of the ski resorts. Impressive here, where, as you can see on the low end with Beaver Mountain coming in at 6 inches. On the high end, though, almost 1.5 feet of snow in areas such as Powder Mountain, and again here across northern Utah. The snow for the ski resorts, as we've been seen snow levels drop, where snowflakes flying through some of the valley locations and getting a little accumulation here along some of the benches. Now the position of the front, important to see, where that's where we're looking at a little bit heavier precipitation. Still ahead of the front, we're mainly looking at rain showers tracking in between St. George up through Cedar City, making its move further northward, where once you reach Beaver, especially as you go over those higher elevation passes, we're definitely looking at some snow showers, slushy conditions, but again wet roads all along I-15 as it continues on between Fillmore up through Nephi, where you can see in Nephi transition from that green into blue. That's rain changing over into snow. We're seeing that action here even as we look up towards Provo, traveling through Spanish Fork Canyon, looking at some of the traffic cameras there. Snow sticking to the roads. It's really canyon travel that we've got slick spots there, but wet roads are expected here. But there's a back edge to the storm. Improvements quickly here along portions of the Salt Lake Valley, pushing further northward. Now we're going to bring in some colder air. That could allow the lake to get a little bit of an enhancement, where we could wake up still with some light snow showers there. But all in all, the storm beginning to make its final push before it starts really exiting the state. But we do see a moment of some showers for tomorrow. I'll tell you when and what you can expect in your Thanksgiving travel coming up in just a few minutes.
Let's go to the other part of our team coverage with Fox 13 News reporter Mythili Gooby in the Big O Tires Weather Beast. Mythili, where are you and what are you seeing right now?
Hey Spencer, Breck, we are in the Weather Beast right now, traveling south on I-15. We're kind of near Payson. So far, it's been pretty clear through our drive down into the southern part of Utah County, but there has been a little bit of rain. Now, let me show you how roads look right now. Like Breck said, pretty wet. We haven't seen much of anything else. It was kind of after Provo when the rain really started to pick up in this area. So conditions are okay. Just kind of drive slowly, drive safely if you are out and about. We haven't seen too many cars, not too much to be concerned about at this point. But like Breck said, canyon travel does look a little more dicey than this. Is just kind of wet roads, kind of widespread all over. And we'll keep you posted as we see any more conditions. We are kind of driving through to see what else, what other conditions could pop up around. We'll keep you posted as we see that in the Weather Beast. I'm Mythili Gooby, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Mythili, thank you. We'll check back in with you in a moment. It's a situation that no one wants to find themselves in. For Dan Sorensen, October 5th will be a day he remembers well as the day he almost died when his heart stopped. But thanks to some Good Samaritans, he's here to tell the tale. And I was there today as he reunited with those who saved his life for the first time in a moment you'll only see here. They say that waiting's the hardest part.
I haven't seen these rescuers since.
The shifting of feet and crossing hands for Dan Sorensen is only natural given who he's about to see.
This is nothing compared to what was going on a few weeks ago.
On October 5th, Dan was with his wife and son, cheering on family and friends that were running the St. George Marathon. Dan, an accomplished runner himself, liked to find people in the last leg of the race to cheer on and run with.
I'll usually pick one that's trying to qualify or something and just try to pace them in.
That's when his son Oliver noticed he was acting a little strange.
And he just went completely limp and just hit the ground. And I was like, whoa.
Dan collapsed, taking a hard fall. his heart had stopped and things were dying. But on that day, the paths of several people converged to make sure that wouldn't be his last.
Had they not been so quick, and right there on the scene, these guys would have been planning my funeral. These are my rescuers.
You look so good. How are you?
Oh, good to see you, Mike.
Now, 2 months later,
This is
Crazy.
this is Julie, right?
Yes, exactly.
reuniting replaces nerves
It's nice to see you not on the ground. You can walk.
Yeah, it's good to see you, period.
with feelings
Oh, God bless you guys.
of joy.
It's we think about you every day.
ER nurses Julie Street and Katie Smith, along with Dr. Mike Kenstrom and his wife Stephanie, were running the marathon and happened to be at the right place at the right time.
We got down there and there was a volunteer at his head, and I think Julie came in there.
It was pretty clear that he wasn't breathing well, like, poor color.
We saw he just wasn't really breathing much.
While I was doing CPR, it really felt like you were supposed to be there. Like, I trust, God trusts you, like, to be here and to help this man.
Knelt down near Dan and started to pray.
We didn't want to leave until we knew he was moved on to the next medical professional.
The trio of medical professionals had never worked together or even met, but in that moment, they were a team.
Dan wasn't supposed to die that day.
Dan wasn't gonna die that day.
CPR was performed by them for 19 minutes before he was rushed to St. George Regional Hospital. After a quadruple bypass, 2 hospitals, and many tough days, his recovery is going well. So whether it was fate or circumstance, it's an incredible story that Dan gets to tell because of the actions of those ready to drop it all to save a life.
Coming from the man on the side of the road, to know that those Good Samaritans were just willing to pass on their goals that day to go directly to somebody in need. To me, it's a real reflection of the divine spark in our fellow beings, you know.
Well, Dan also told me today in the months leading up to that day, he had felt some tightness in his chest on his morning runs, but he had brushed it off. Now he says to anyone out there watching, take those warning signs seriously and get checked out before it's too late. Well, an update to his story we first brought you last month. The town of Manaway says their police chief has returned to duty. In a statement to Fox 13, the Manaway Town Council said it voted unanimously that Chief Dakota Midkiff would be taken off administrative leave and resume duties effective this past Friday, provided he take a remedial training course over 40 hours. Now, Midkiff had been placed on leave after taking to the ground a 76-year-old man. The man's face was bloodied and turned black and blue. Now, the arrest angered some residents, some of whom filed a petition for Midkiff's removal. The town's attorney, shortly after the arrest, told the Manaway Council that the man appeared to be resisting, and that weighed in favor of use of force. Now, the arrested man, a former wildlife officer, Richard Schultz, has been charged in the Manaway's Justice Court with a misdemeanor count of interfering with police. He has not yet entered a plea. Exactly 52 years after Army veteran Gregory Nickel was murdered in Utah, an arrest has finally been made in connection with this cold case. Today, Uinta County Sheriff's deputies arrested 74-year-old Daryl Choate at a Salt Lake City hospital. It was back on this day in 1972 when Choate and another man allegedly shot Gregory Nickel, and raped a woman who was on a date with Nickel, and then burned their car in a rest area along Highway 40. In 2019, authorities used DNA evidence to identify the other suspect as Daniel Bell, who had died earlier that year. Choate was also known to have a criminal history and lived in Utah, Washington, Oregon, Arizona, Idaho, Nevada, New Mexico, and Texas. Authorities are looking to speak with anyone who may have known him or could have any information about the 1972 murder. A police shooting in Ogden over the weekend left a 45-year-old man dead. That shooting taking place on Sunday at a home in the area of 900 East and 1150 North around noon on Sunday. Fox 13 News reporter Chris Arnold spoke with police and domestic violence advocates about the incident.
if you are in that situation, prioritize your own safety and the safety of your children.
Kimmy Wolf is a communication specialist with the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition.
I just read an article from one of our service providers, and they're saying that their particular organization sees an increase of 10 to 15% in around the holidays.
Fox 13 News spoke with Wolf about the deadly police shooting that left a 45-year-old Ogden man dead on Sunday. That incident coming after the man's wife called police to have them there as she got belongings out of the home.
If she had a reason for concern, which she did, utilizing the protection of police officers, even if they're not there to arrest anyone, just as peacekeepers, that is a resource that is available to someone.
On Tuesday, Ogden Police Chief Jake Suby says the man, Jeffrey Blue, became confrontational with the responding officer. After another officer came to assist the officer and woman in getting items out of the home, the chief says Blue displayed both angry and confrontational behavior.
Mr. Blue made a statement about getting a gun. He then abruptly turned further into the home where he retrieved what appeared to be a handgun. Faced with this critical situation, one officer discharged their duty weapon, striking Mr. Blue.
Chief Suby says Blue was pronounced dead at the scene.
The Weber County Critical Incident Investigation Team has determined that the item retrieved by Mr. Blue was a replica handgun designed to closely resemble a functioning firearm.
He says this incident highlighting the significant challenges law enforcement face in safeguarding the public, while ensuring not only their own safety, but the safety of others.
30 years ago, when I would see a replica gun, it would be maybe made out of plastic, but it looked very real. Today, they're made out of metal. They function in action in some cases, and they're very difficult to distinguish.
Chris Bertram is a retired deputy chief with the Unified Police Department. This incident that took place in Ogden, you actually encountered a kind of a similar incident during your law enforcement career. Can you touch on that more?
I did. I got into a foot pursuit with a teenager who went into a bathroom at a gas station, and as I entered the bathroom, he was, had his hand down in his waistband, and he was pulling out what appeared to be a gun.
In his incident, Bertram told Fox 13 News he immediately grabbed the gun as well as his own firearm while contemplating his next decision.
I got control of it, and what I realized later was it was a plastic replica.
Ogden police say they had responded to the residence where this incident took place multiple times since 2021. The officer who fired their weapon is on administrative leave as the investigation into this incident continues. Chief Suby did say that this incident was captured on the officer's body-worn camera. That footage is expected to be released in the future. Here in Ogden, Chris Arnold, Fox 13 News, Utah.
How to be sure you're serving a safe Thanksgiving meal. We have that conversation coming up.
Gosh, I've been part of the Fox 13 News team for 13 years now. I've worked weekends, mornings, nights, but during that time, my life has changed a lot. My 3 little kids aren't so little anymore. My daughter will be 18 in a few weeks. We're now navigating college preps. My middle son just made his high school basketball team. And I swear I was just pregnant with my baby, but he started middle school this year. Life gets so busy for all of us. And sometimes it just requires a shift in more than one way to keep your balance. We tell stories about Utah families in our community every single day, and for me, that really emphasized the need for me to be more available to my family in those evenings to help with homework and dinner time, bedtime. It's so comforting to know Fox 13 News has created an atmosphere and culture of family first, having that whole work-life balance. When there was an opportunity to move to the morning show, I was all over it. For me, I needed that change. So in order to be more available to my family and for me to fulfill my job as being a mom, I am saying goodnight to the 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock news on Fox 13. But I am so excited to be able to say now good morning to all of you as part of our new Good Day Utah team.
Well, Kelly, we're going to miss you at nights, but of course you can continue to watch Kelly and the rest of our Good Day Utah team every weekday morning starting at 5 a.m. Well, it's the time of year when people are flocking to the grocery stores to get items they need or forgot for Thanksgiving. Lately, we've seen a lot of popular items recalled, though, making it a little more difficult to navigate food safety during this time. Fox 13 News reporter Avery Klanowski spoke with a culinary professional and the health department about ways you can be safe when purchasing and serving your Thanksgiving dinners.
all over the country, people are getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner.
Seems like there are a lot of products being recalled nowadays, so a lot of the grocery stores are good about having shopper cart information.
The first step in food safety is knowing what you are buying before getting to the checkout line.
And just recently, carrots. There's been some cases of E. coli involved with baby carrots, with boar's head meat being contaminated with listeria. And of course, we have the situation with the onions in McDonald's foods.
And most recently, dairy.
Even though there are quite a few cases of highly pathogenic avian influenza affecting the herds in California, once that product is pasteurized, it's safe. There are no reported cases of people contracting avian influenza from consuming either, dairy products or egg products.
Once you get over the hurdle of purchasing the right foods, it's time to prep. Cassidy Morrison, culinary director at Orson Geeky, says there are signs to watch for when it comes to vegetables.
You're going to find a lot of slimy textures, and that's just from the bacteria growing. You're going to find some weird fuzz. You might find some discolored spots and stuff, and that's all just from being in an unsafe temperature for too long. You can use a little vinegar and water, you can use a vegetable wash, just whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Temperature is important too.
Will kill the pathogenic bacteria. Likewise, it'll also kill the virus. If there's any viral particles on it, it'll kill it. So again, people should make sure that they're cooking foods to the proper temperature, use a STEM thermometer or some other type of thermometer to make sure that they are in that proper cooking range.
And the risk doesn't end once the meal is served. Leftovers can also make people sick if they aren't stored properly.
Leftover turkey is amazing, but you don't want to get sick from it afterwards. So 2 hours outside of cooking time is really kind of what you're looking for, and then tuck it away into the fridge.
And the most important advice:
washing your hands is definitely a big one.
In Salt Lake City, Avery Klanowski, Fox 13 News, Utah.
So maybe you know what you're going to be serving up for Thanksgiving, at least for the meal, but what's Mother Nature going to be serving up, Breck?
Well, I think you're going to like this spread on Thursday. Yeah, weather's going to be cooperating. Not so much right now. This has been all kinds of problems here throughout the afternoon into the evening. Treacherous roads as that storm in front that has moved through northern Utah, now positioning itself, tracking through central and southern Utah. We give you a view in Beaver right now. The roads are wet with a mixture of some rain and snow, but rain changing over into snow as that colder air is sweeping in, as we're seeing its position, as mentioned, right near Beaver and moving further southward. We're ahead of the front. We're still looking at mainly rain, all in green, as you go in between St. George through Cedar City. Once you hit Beaver and further northward, especially over some of those higher elevation passes, definitely looking at some snow and can see some slushy conditions. I-70, we've got the showers and wet roads. Again, as you're moving from Green River over towards Grand Junction, you're going to be transitioning between rain and snow. Now, the storm still having an impact for portions of the Wasatch Front. It's the southern end and South Utah County heading into Juab County. That's where we're also seeing that mixture of some rain and snow. The showers moving now further south in Provo. You can see in Santaquin, Payson, and then moving over towards Nephi. We're seeing that impact, but a strong back edge to the storm, at least for right now. Things quieting down for the rest of northern Utah, even through some of the canyon areas. But as colder air moves in, we will see some lake enhanced snow bands here for tonight into early tomorrow morning. But calm right now here for most of the Wasatch Front, where temperatures behind the front in the mid to upper 30s. We look elsewhere where, again, ahead of the front, like in Cedar City, it's a little bit warmer and definitely more mild temperatures in St. George, where you'll be seeing that temperature drop. And as we look over the higher terrain, we still have a winter storm warning in effect, even incorporating the northern mountains. Now, the focus will be moving ahead, where we're going to see most of the significant snowfall towards the central and southern mountains. Not much more here across the northern mountains, where we might squeeze out another 2 or 3 inches, but we could potentially be looking upwards of maybe 5 to 10 inches, where we've already picked up, like as we were highlighting before, Eagle Point coming in with just 13 inches. We could be adding on a few more, where all in all the total could be a foot to a foot and a half of snow, where we've already been getting at least a foot in some locations across the northern mountains. Now, what about the valleys? We will see a moment again of some snow showers come tomorrow morning in the morning early on. That means we can see some slushy roads through the canyons here across northern Utah. Once we get past that, though, and even though we might see some light snow showers for the Salt Lake Valley, Tooele County, again coming off the lake, by about 7 o'clock things quickly improve. Dry conditions expected for the afternoon, including across central and southern Utah, but still a morning focus. Whereas we take a look at our computer models, as this front does continue to drop further southward over midnight, we'll hold on to some heavy showers, which can produce some standing water across extreme southern Utah. You can see moving into 5:30, 6:30, finally seeing that storm exit the state. Again, isolated showers, even a little bit of snow here, Salt Lake, Tooele Valley, northern Utah County. That quickly dissipates, and it's smooth sailing thereon. They'll be clearing out the roads. We're going to keep it clear heading into tomorrow and into Thursday as well. So traveling on Thanksgiving Day should not be much of an issue, but it's going to be an issue here for tonight. Central and southern Utah tapering off tomorrow. We can see morning snow. Then by 8 o'clock, we're good and seeing the sunshine, but some cold temperatures tracking through the day where you can see for most locations it's below average, upper 30s to 40s, even 20s in Evanston. But good news, the storm moving away and staying away heading into the weekend. We've got a clear, sunny, temperatures climbing into the upper 50s to even low 60s. Again, that small bump in the road tomorrow morning, then we're good to go for Thanksgiving. And again, looking towards the weekend, we're going to be looking at mostly sunny skies. Temperatures a little bit on the cool side, low to mid 40s. We're back after the break.
Well, today, hockey's most coveted prize made a stop in Salt Lake City. Hopefully, it's not the last time it's here. The NHL brought Lord Stanley's Cup to the American Cancer Society's Hope Lodge this evening as a part of the Hockey Fights Cancer initiative.
Days like this in the Hope Lodge are really just about bringing joy to the people who are in the middle of their journey with cancer, right? Letting them forget about the treatment or chemo or, you know, the long days or the sleepless nights, and just forget about all of that noise for a second and just get to experience some fun with the National Hockey League and the NHLPA.
The NHL also brought the Stanley Cup to some of the local hospitals across the Wasatch Front, like the University of Utah Hospital, for staff and patients to get an up-close and personal look at the trophy. Now, ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday, the PTA at Hunter Elementary School in West Valley City hosted a food drive to make sure kids don't go hungry during the holiday break. Today was the last day of the drive, and it far exceeded expectations. Take a look.
Good job.
There we go. Look at all of those boxes getting knocked down. Well, students lined up all the boxes have donated food throughout the school to knock them down. You can see it here. In all, they brought in more than 4,000 items to those in need.
Wanted to make sure by doing this food drive that all of them have a good and healthy meal that they can have to sustain them. We are at, I believe, 11 days off for our winter break, and that's a long time to be without food, and that's not including the weekends.
Now, if you still want to help the kids at Hunter Elementary, you can donate to them. Just reach out to the front office at the school for more details. Coming up as we approach Inauguration Day, attitudes and policies towards immigration are taking firmer shape, where Utah's governor stands on mass deportations. Welcome back. With the rain and snow we saw today comes an increase in avalanche danger across the state. Here's a look at the Utah Avalanche Center's latest danger rating map. You can see the Moab, Ogden, and Provo, as well as Skyline regions, are rated considerable danger. Be sure to go to the Utah Avalanche Center's website before you enjoy any powder days up in the mountains or activities in the backcountry. Well, that snow, it's coming down across the state. It's good for the resorts. It's good for skiing. Maybe not so good for the roads, Breck. I can see it behind you.
Not for the roads, not for the avalanche. This is more heavy, wet snow that we're seeing here across the state, where, as we mentioned, we picked up upwards of 10 to 20 inches of snow for some of those mountain resorts, where right now, as we look at some of the valleys moving here throughout central into southern Utah, this is just south of Cedar City in New Harmony, where, again, it's mainly rain as it will transition into snow here over the next hour or two. The cold front now moving through portions of southern Utah. You can see in its current position where it's now tracked through Beaver, heading towards Cedar City. And again, ahead of the front, we're still looking at some rain, mainly green coming in from radar. That's the rain showers. You move up in elevation towards Bryan Head, heading over towards Panguitch. You're seeing that mixture of some rain and snow along 89. I-70 coming out of Salina, also seeing some wet roads as well. And then tracking all the way from Fillmore up through Nephi. So this storm moving further southward, does it completely exit the state in your travel plans for tomorrow leading up to Thanksgiving? Gubi. We'll answer that coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Breck. Of course, we're checking back in with Fox 13 News reporter Mythili Gubi and the Big O Tires weather beast. Mythili, what are you seeing now?
Hey Spencer, so now we're traveling up on I-15 northbound right now. We did see a little bit of rain earlier when we were in Santaquin. There was some snow, but that was tapering off. There was a little bit of the white stuff kind of still on the roads, but not much, not right now. Pretty clear conditions. I'm going to show you how the roads look right now. We're closer to Springville, and it's pretty clear. Not much rain either. We didn't see any crashes or accidents of that sort. Just people going carefully, taking it slow in areas that do have a little bit of dangerous weather, but nothing crazy that we've seen so far. We'll keep you updated with the latest as we do get it, but for now, if you are driving, conditions look pretty clear on the roads. From the Big O Tires Weather Beast, I am Mythili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, Utah Governor Spencer Cox says local law enforcement will work with the Trump administration to identify, incarcerate, and deport undocumented immigrants who have committed crimes and pose a threat to public safety. State Democratic leaders spoke against Governor Cox's announcement, expressing worry about what happens next.
Do I want to make sure people are committing serious crimes and hurting people, that they're held accountable? Yes, I'm not debating that. But my concern is the rhetoric and the political rhetoric going around about people who are aspiring to be citizens or people who are undocumented or people who are asylees.
In a statement from the Utah House Majority, Representative Carolyn Lisenby said, quote, "We know for certain that we must act to address the strain on Utah's communities, public safety resources, and education system." Also adding, quote, "The bill package will prevent future victims by working to stop human trafficking and drug trafficking and deter other criminal activity that endangers Utah residents." Fox 13 News also spoke with the ACLU of Utah, which was against the incoming Trump administration's border policy.
We think this proposal is pretty extreme. It promotes unnecessary and complicated and costly collaboration between local law enforcement and federal agencies, and it risks due process violations, and we foresee it increasing discriminatory policing.
As a part of a statement, Governor Cox says he'll continue to welcome refugees and immigrants who enter the country lawfully, adding that he'll push for more visas to support workforce needs. The Granite School District Superintendent says the district is making changes to its restroom concept. Last Tuesday, we told you about the district's plan to change the restrooms to put a stop to bullying and vandalism happening inside the school. Now, the new design has designated small restrooms with one toilet and floor-to-ceiling doors and walls. The hand washing area would be a shared space. Now, some parents raised concerns about boys and girls using this same area to wash their hands. Today, the district said it's designating specific gender restrooms. The main and third floor restrooms will be for female students and the second floor for males. Now, the remaining restrooms are traditional design and already designated specifically to males and females. Well, coming up, we'll tell you how one kid in southern Utah is breaking records on the gridiron for Southern Utah University, and how movie theaters in Utah are looking to bring people back to the box office for all important Thanksgiving holiday weekend movies. Welcome back. Well, between Wicked, Gladiator 2, also known as Glicked if you see them both, that's going around on social media, as well as Moana 2, there's plenty to see this holiday weekend. And the act of going to the movies is getting a little more luxurious. The Megaplex theaters at Sunset in St. George have been closed for 3 months, undergoing renovations and a remodel for other theaters in the largest theater chain in Utah. It means the fewer seats, all of them motorized luxury seats. Now, Jesse Tate, Megaplex Senior Vice President, says that's a part of a strategy to bring people back to the movies.
Every seat is perfect. There's something about large format, immersed experience, and watching it with other people that you can escape. Home, you can't escape. There's phones going off, there's kids in the back room, there's lights. You can't escape like movies can do, and there's no larger format than a theater.
Theaters like Sunset have reduced their capacity by 40%, but Tate says they expect to do the same amount of business, especially with the big movies slated for the holiday season. Southern Utah University wrapped up their football season, but not before leaving their mark. A star running back from right here in Utah made a name for himself. Targi Lamson rushed for 1,922 yards this season, which leads the FSC in Division I football. That breaks a long-standing school record and was only the second in the nation to the Heisman contender Ashton Gentry from Boise State.
Hometown guy from Utah, and he's done an incredible job. He prepped at Timpview High School and then was at Snow College for 2 years before he came here to SUU. Just had an incredible year. Broke the school record, which was set in 1991 by Zed Robinson, and he broke that and put up, like I said, over almost 2,000 yards rushing this year.
That's incredible. Now this Utah native, who was the T-Birds tailback for the past 2 years, has his eye on the NFL draft, hoping to go pro. Coming up, one woman is doing her part to honor military families. She's the latest person to receive a Fox 13 Dream Team surprise. We'll introduce you.
It was a great night for the Utah Hockey Club in Montreal with a big finish to their 4-game road trip. And the Jazz took on Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs tonight in the NBA Cup. Could they split their season series? The highlights are on the way.
A Weber County woman is doing her part to remember the sacrifices made by military families. Katie Calhoun is filling their pantries and putting food on their tables, all while sharing a heartfelt thank you. Because of her work with Operation Homefront, Fox 13 News anchor John Franke and the Fox 13 Dream Team are recognizing Katie, who's a warrior for her community.
We are at Kent's Market in Roy, and we are filling 150 pre-registered military families' cars with 2,700 bags of groceries.
Katie is an amazing individual. I love to see the smile and joy on her face that comes from it. She's a very humble person that doesn't like getting a lot of recognition all of the time, and so to be able to recognize her this means the world to us.
It's about 1 in 4 face military food insecurity. This helps to relieve some of that stress. It helps to give a little bit of a burden relief for them, especially going into the holidays.
Why did you nominate her for Dream Team?
People who love their community as much as she does deserves the recognition. She does so much for her, not only her local community in Utah, but for the military families. And it really just hits home.
Katie Calhoun is a military wife who works tirelessly to help other military families. That's why we came here to her office at Kent's Market in Roy to deliver a Dream Team surprise. So they're not expecting us at all. We can just barge in and...
Can I do? I love barging in.
I know.
Especially with goodies.
Is Katie here?
I'm Katie.
Katie, hi, I'm John with Fox 13 and the Fox 13 Dream Team. Hi. Nice to meet you. And I'm here with Charlene Wallace from Mountain America Credit Union.
Katie, you are so well known for doing such an amazing job taking care of our military families. We thought we'd take care of you a little bit. This is a Pampering You gift basket. We've got a throw blanket in there, lots of hair and body products, a couple of gift cards for dinner and movie, chocolates, of course. And probably something you appreciate even more is a couple $1,000s to help you with Operation Homefront.
I'm filled with so much joy, I can't even explain it. Thank you.
Did we interrupt your meeting?
No, you're totally fine. Thank you so.
Why do you do it?
It's my why in my life. I am so gracious. Not only my husband wears the uniform, but there's so many amazing American heroes that wear the uniform, and we have the freedoms that we have because of them. And I feel like I get to get up every day and do this, and I have those freedoms because of that. The least I can do is to say thank you to them and their families, because when the members are gone serving their country, the families are at home. And we need to wrap our arms around them as a community and say, we got you while they're gone.
Kind of like a mom, you know? So usually moms, like, you don't understand their impact. They're always watching you, they're taking care of you, they're nurturing you. But you don't kind of realize how much of an impact that your mom makes until you've kind of grown up and you look back on it. And I think she has that same effect to her community in a way where even though it's, you know, a little bit every day, it's making a huge impact for later down the line.
It seems like you're not going to stop working for this effort anytime soon, are you?
No, sir. Everybody says, are you going to go bigger? And I say, absolutely. I think the need is there, the love is there. We sell groceries, we stock shelves to take care of people in our community. That's what we do.
Well, if you know someone who you'd like to nominate for a Fox 13 Dream Team surprise, go to fox13now.com/contest and fill out the form and tell us all about them. Well, Breck, behind you, I can already see it. Look at that snow coming down.
All right.
Makes me want to go skiing. It
This
really
is-
does. I know it makes you want to go skiing too.
I want to go skiing, yeah. The ski resort's picking up anywhere between 10 to 20 inches, and really as we look towards some of the central and southern mountains, so Eagle Point, Bridehead, from all said and done with this storm, potentially getting upwards of 2 feet of snow, where the snow falling at a pretty good clip right now along I-15 just south of Beaver as it's making its move. Hopefully you're not on the roadways here. Yeah, we said here throughout the afternoon into the evening, this is a time you do not want to be traveling, especially as we turn towards central and southern Utah. That's the position where the front right now. Ahead of that front, still though, between Cedar City and St. George, we've got mainly rain, but a transition as we push further north of Cedar City, again, going through Beaver and some of those higher elevation areas. That's where we're seeing that transition into snow, slushy conditions, and moving along I-70, looking at some of the traffic cameras as we come out of Salina, heading over towards Green River. We've got some areas where we're seeing some snow, kind of a mixture of some rain and snow between Green River and Grand Junction. Now, we've got a pretty well-defined back edge to the storm here on the southern end of the Wasatch Front towards Juab County. That's how it will make its move, but colder air as it does push further southward here, coming in from the north, tracking across the Great Salt Lake. That's going to get a little bit of a lift as we're going to be looking at lake enhanced snow bands. When I say enhanced, it's not widespread lake effect that we can typically find, especially when we have some really cold air. This cold front not bringing in that extreme cold air, but it will generate a little bit of light snow activity, particularly for the south end of the Salt Lake Valley into Tooele County as well. That's the situation through the early morning hours. Right now, though, as you can see behind this front, most locations in the 30s. Still in St. George, where the front has not pushed through, we've got temperatures in the 50s. Now, we still have a winter storm warning in effect for most mountain locations. We're not going to get much more than what we've already seen here for the northern mountains. We might squeeze out another 1 to 3 inches here as we track into tomorrow morning. Really, though, where the position of the front and we're seeing that more heavier precipitation, it will generate more significant snow accumulations, especially here for the next 12 hours, where Bridehead almost could get upwards of 10 to 11 inches of additional snow, where they've already picked up close to 10 to 12 inches already. Now, let's talk about travel hazards. Tonight, it's across central into southern Utah. We head into tomorrow morning early. We're going to hold on to a chance of some showers across southeastern Utah, maybe some patchy fog over the higher terrain, maybe some of the mountain valleys, but all in all, heading into tomorrow mid-morning through the afternoon, you're going to be on dry roads for most spots, maybe a few isolated showers over the higher terrain. It looks like patchy fog tomorrow evening late, but peeling away as we go into Thursday morning. So Thanksgiving Day, no travel concerns whatsoever. Tonight, though, it is a focus as we go from Nephi down through Cedar City, along I-70, across southeastern Utah. And then for tomorrow, temperatures a little bit on the cold side, where most spots below average, a lot of 30s for afternoon highs across northeastern Utah, even through Utah County. Looks like you'll be reaching a high of 37 degrees in Richfield. So those temperatures, because of the cold front, as we're going to be bringing that drier air, though, we see some sunshine, especially as we move through the afternoon, where for St. George, it's partly cloudy skies, mid-50s, low 50s Thursday, so a little bit cooler, but a nice rebound in temperatures heading into the weekend, where we climb into the mid to upper 50s, even low 60s heading into Tuesday. Now, Wasatch Front, early snow showers, again, just Salt Lake Valley, Tooele County, moving to the northern end of Utah County, but it's early on between 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock a.m., and then tapering off. Then we're good to go and seeing the sunshine for Thanksgiving. It's going to be a cold Thanksgiving with highs only reaching the upper 30s. A little bit warmer throughout the weekend. We're in the mid 40s by Tuesday, so just that little bump in the road for the morning. Then we're good to go for the holiday.
The Utah Hockey Club wrapped up their 4-game road trip tonight in Montreal. Only the New York Yankees have more championships in major sports than the Canadiens, who won the Stanley Cup a record 24 times. Second period, Clayton Keller with the puck gets it to Dylan Guenther. He shoots and scores. Great feed to Guenther, who was set and ready to fire for his 10th goal of the season, 1-0 Utah. Montreal answered back 2 minutes later. It's Jaden Struble shoots and scores, and that tied the score up at 1. The Canadians took the lead early in the third period. Christian Dvorak fires it, and Alex Newhook is there to put Montreal up 2-1. But later in the third, Logan Cooley on the 2-on-1 with Jack McBain. He gives it up, and McBain puts it into the back of the net to tie the score at 2. Great teamwork, forcing overtime. Then with under 30 seconds in OT, Nick Schmaltz to Mikhail Sergachev puts in the game winner. Sergachev with his 6th goal, giving Utah a 3-2 win in overtime, in Montreal ending their trip 2-2.
Big, both teams are fighting for a playoff spot and fighting for wins. So it means a lot for both teams, but we come on top. I'm happy. It feels great. Just got to keep it going.
We played really good. It's tough to believe we win in OT. I think we played solid defensively. I think our goalie made key stop at key moment. I like a lot of stuff. I like our resilience. I like the fact we stay with it. We kept attacking. We kept putting pressure on them. So that's a big win.
The Utah Jazz played the San Antonio Spurs for the 4th time in 26 days tonight in the NBA Cup. How about Lauri Markkanen by Victor Wembanyama for the Jam, the finisher with 14 points. Nice two-man game here. Isaiah Potter to John Collins throws down 2 of his 20 points plus 13 rebounds. Wembanyama can do it all. Finished at the rim and knocked down deep threes. He led all scorers with 34 points. Spurs up 7, but back came the Jazz. Colin Sexton with the step-back 3. He had 20 points. 8-0 run, but the Jazz up 1. Then it's Colin Sexton. Beats the shot clock with the 3. He led the Jazz with 26 points. But the Spurs pulled ahead to win the game 128-115, and Lauri Markkanen went out with a knee contusion. So sad news there. College hoops, Utah took on Mississippi Valley State. Hunter Erickson with the hammer. Big time finish there. He had the fans and his teammates going crazy. And Utah's 94-48 to win. I said Isaiah Collins. It's Isaiah Collier.
Collier.
Yeah, he's a rookie with the
I
Utah
knew
Jazz,
that.
but
It was Collier. Come on.
It was Collier to Collins. Yeah.
Well, it was really cool earlier. We had that Stanley Cup story, and our photographer got a shot of Mikhail Sergachev's name on it.
Yeah,
so
pretty cool, right?
Do we think maybe, hopefully, one day soon?
One day soon.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year, but soon.
Yeah, they're doing, one day soon, Jeff. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. We'll be right back. Well, they're back. Christmas lights are going up at Temple Square in Salt Lake City for the first time since renovations began in 2020. There's no formal lighting ceremony this year, but lights are officially turned on Friday and will stay up through New Year's. You guys gonna go see them this year?
Oh, yeah. I think we always go see them.
I think it'd be
It's
cool.
a tradition.
Yeah, check it out.
I love it. Well, Scripps Cast is next. Stick around.